Now we'll start with a couple of my favourite moments. One of them being Evan Klein's dangle pass, which wasn't the highest, let's be honest, it wasn't. But if you look closely there, you'll notice that his arms are crossed. And that's because he realised, coming down, that the kite really needed to be somewhere that it just wasn't. I also really enjoyed watching Posito Martinez, who I wasn't sure was good at kiteboarding until well, I still sort of think that. Right, other key heat. How did Lorenzo beat Jesse? Basically, I just think Lorenzo was better at Balneario. He's better at board-off rotation and he's just more in form at the moment. Obviously, it's so clear to see that. But look at how Lorenzo picked the kickers. Jesse was shit at this. But look, Lorenzo's taking his time there, just pausing, so that when he does go and belt it, he hits the kicker at the exact moment. Not just like at the ramp, he actually hits it at the apex of it. So like where it's breaking, like a surfer would want it. That gives him max line tension, which meant he went higher than Jesse and bigger than Jesse, and he just outdid Jesse. Like Lorenzo was getting 17.7 meters compared to Jesse's 13 meters. In Jesse's defense though, right, look at this crash he took. That looks like the sort of crash that could have been ankles gone, legs gone, knees gone, maybe all of them gone. None of them were gone, and he gets up and does it again twice. I don't know if anyone else in the fleet would have done that. I think that's specific to Jesse Richmond being a weirdo. So yeah, good on him, but it wasn't enough to keep up with Lorenzo, who was on fire. Right, next key heat. Lorenzo then ran into Liam. I actually sort of think Lorenzo should have won this one on paper, but there is a good reason why he didn't. If you look at the stats, Lorenzo rotated more, was higher for longer whilst going faster, and he landed more softly. Lorenzo's jumps were 28% higher than Liam's, and the biggest jump for Lorenzo was 14% higher than Liam's biggest. Lorenzo also has mad tic-tac. Look at this shit. He's taking off with the fin, right? He then flips the board round his wrist and then catches the handle. Handles are lame, obviously, but it does make it easier for him to put it back on. What is also sick about Lorenzo's riding is he does 2 rotations with the board off, so the board's off whilst he goes around either front roll or back roll twice. Liam isn't doing that. What is Liam doing though? Liam's good at constructing a heat. Liam did more trick attempts when it mattered. He rode left and right. Meanwhile, Lorenzo was fucking around doing a kite change that he didn't end up using for the last minute. And those two things combined meant his overall impression score was higher, which he ended up beating Lorenzo on. So yeah, boom, that's why Liam beat Lorenzo. Moving on. Just quickly, what happened to Marc Jacobs, you might be wondering? He took a 7 to do a double. Everyone else took 6s. That wasn't the right call. If he had taken a 6 though, I still don't think he would have beaten Andrea. No one was going to beat Andrea. Andrea versus Giel. This was the best heat of the day. Right, Giel knew from the off that the only way to beat this little Italian fucker is to just do loads and loads of doubles. So Giel does 2 rotational ones, pretty big, and then he does the board off double. Meanwhile, Andrea's going for a contra-loop front roll board off, which scores well and has massive height. And then Andrea does this. That's a world first in competition, the double loop contra board off. And then he does the boogie double that the second yank was so big I thought it must have been an S loop, but it isn't. Look at it. And he said that was the scariest thing he's ever done. If you look closely at that though, you can actually see Andrea is pulling a steering line, which is contentious. Some people think that's cheating and it's not right. Other people think, well, if he didn't do that, he would have died, and the yank was absolutely massive and he went huge, so what do you want him to do? But yeah, Andrea lands that, crowd go wild, Giel's thinking, fuck. So he then goes and tries his first switch double, which ends like this. Boom, into the final. On rotations and landing force, Liam and Andrea are actually really similar, but Andrea's going 11% higher for 11% longer than Liam on average. Now, big air kiteboarding is getting to the sort of point where it's fairly hard to follow for the average public idiot to realise what's going on. This is made particularly hard when the live stream actually misses 2/3 of Andrea's tricks. However, I've gone and dug them out of the basement, haven't I? Thanks to me. So this is Andrea's first number, solid, and then these are his next 2. Yeah, so that's why he won, basically. That last coin trick is a straight 10 for good reason. That is massive. I actually don't think it's as big as this one in the semi against Giel, but it's still massive. Liam got backed into a corner by this, basically, and ended up, once he'd done a really sloppy kite change, going for a boogie double loop, something that he's never attempted before. He understeers the kite here. There's no going back from that. Like, if he tries to land that, it's something's gonna break. It's probably gonna be him. So he's right to kick the board off there. But it was at this point that everyone on the beach knew that Andrea had just won the Big Air World Championships. Right, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that intense, in-depth analysis. Thank you to me as always for doing that. Thanks to Steezy Pete for crunching the numbers. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.